Well, Splunchen, how do you do, buckaroos, and how the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer for the purposes of this impromptu show, and I've got the one and only Jersey Johnny with me. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing tonight, Tom?
Not too bad. Well, actually, just got home from work a little bit ago. I was working at the brewery tonight.
Yes, right.
Uh,
How's the brewery doing?
Very well, actually. We just decided to open, and we've been open Wednesday through Sunday, and just decided to open Mondays. So
Oh, cool.
it's one of those things, there's been the demand is greater, which places a greater demand on the brewer to try to keep up with everything.
Sure. Exactly.
So it's kind of one of those double-edged swords going on. But I'm enjoying the extra hours, so it works for me. I was trying to fix something here real quick, and I got that. So anyway, here's what we're gonna do, man. We kind of just decided to do this one off the cuff, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna do. I think Jersey and Johnny and I are just gonna have a beer and a whiskey or bourbon. I'm doing my neat. I think you mentioned you're gonna go rocks, but I'm going neat for mine.
I'm going rocks. Yeah, I'm going
You're
rocks.
going rocks. So tell me what you're drinking first.
All right. Well, my beer. I'll pour the beer, then I'll pour the bourbon, or we can do beer, bourbon, whatever you want to do. I'm having a brown ale, American brown ale from called Bear from Treehouse up in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm. It's a 6.5%, roughly 6.4, American brown ale. I have had this before, but I haven't had it in a little bit, so it's been a minute. Yeah, it's pouring right, nice and deep brown. That's nice. It's got a nice dark, dark beige
Oh nice.
head. There we go. Shade of pour right there. Nice and dark brown. So, got to get the obligatory untapped picture.
Oh, there you go. Do what you got to do, brother.
And yeah, well, I've been putting up a couple of articles on the Logrum website as well. I do a couple of these beers. So there we go. There we go. So that's my beer. Should I pour my bourbon too? Or you want to pour your beer first?
Go ahead and pour your bourbon. Tell us what you're drinking.
All right, this one I actually just picked this bottle up a couple weeks ago. Jess and I went up to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania for just one night, so 2 days really. I mean, we left early Sunday, came home late on Monday, so it was 2 full days. But we stayed over one night. Went to one distillery up there. Got to Social Still was the name of the distillery. It's right, literally across the street from the Bethlehem Industry Museum, which is right next to the old stacks, the old Bethlehem steel mills.
Oh, nice. All right.
And yeah, it's really cool area. There's a lot of really good liquid and both spirits and beer in and around Bethlehem, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, this one's called Sasquatch. There we go.
Sasquatch. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that was close.
That was good. I got good hands. There we go. So it's called Sasquatch. It's a bourbon. They aged it for a while. She told me it's not on here. 80 proof, so 40%. And they finish it in maple bourbon barrels. So
Oh, nice.
bourbon barrels that had aged maple syrup. And they add vanilla beans. So it's a vanilla maple bourbon.
Oh,
Basically.
nice. That sounds very interesting.
But there's no vanilla or maple, adjuncts or anything like that. And it's just maple barrels that they add vanilla beans to and finish the bourbon in it.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Very
There
nice.
we go. It's a little lighter, but
There we go. Yeah.
yeah, it's really it's tasty. I've had a couple out of it already, as you can tell.
Ah, nice. Very nice.
Had a cocktail when we were there with it, and you know what? Actually, again, I'm not gonna fudge it. I'm gonna actually look up the recipe because I tell you. Go ahead, I'll find it, and then you can. I'll tell you about it. What are you drinking?
So I've got two products. My wife and I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, January 1st and 2nd. So I picked up some beer and some whiskey from that neck of the woods. The beer here is called Astronaut Cookies Oatmeal Stout from Neff Brewing out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Nice.
It's naturally gluten-free.
Hmm.
So it's a gluten-free stout. So I can get my eyes to focus here. It's only 5%. The ingredients are interesting though. The ingredients are millet, rice, buckwheat, quinoa, gluten-free oats, tapioca, maltodextrin, hops, yeast, and water.
Interesting.
I'll pour that, and I'll show you my whiskey here. So my common thread here is that I've got two products from Oklahoma, which is what I tried to tie together here.
Mm-hmm.
There's the beer. Let me show you what this looks like. That pour is beautiful.
Oh, that's nice.
So the whiskey, I decided to go big on the whiskey. This one is from Hochatown Distilling. It is their single barrel straight bourbon whiskey. This is a cask at 120 proof.
Nice.
So I'm going to pour. Get my glass handy here.
You pour 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this though, right? You measure it like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. 3 big fingers.
Yeah.
Let's see. We probably won't do 3 fingers since it is 120 proof, but we do want a good solid couple ounces anyway. Well, there you go.
That's good stuff.
Let me show you what that stuff looks like.
Ooh, that's pretty.
It is nice. It's really nice, and it's rather approachable at that proof, which is rather amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you this bottle here once I get that lid back on there. Anyways, Hochatown Distilling Company was formed in the heart of Southeast Oklahoma. The goal, producing the finest quality spirits. I had 2 products from them while we were there. This one and another whiskey, and both products are just amazing, man. This stuff is crazy good.
Did you get the other bottle too? Or you just opted for the one?
I just got the one. Well, the thing of it is, the liquor store only had the one bottle. I tried the other product at a bar I was at. They had a different product, so I went ahead and tried that while I was at that bar.
Gotcha.
It is nice. The nose on this is just insane.
Yeah.
The toffee, vanilla, a lot of big oak, a little bit of spice. Certainly, you might find some dark fruit notes depending on your taste buds there.
Sure.
So tell us about your whiskey you're drinking there. Give me some flavors.
Whatchamacallit, I was just going to do that. The last time I had the last pour of this, I had it neat, and yeah, it just opened up. It was big vanilla, big more vanilla than maple, because obviously they added the beans to the cask and they were just getting the maple out of the oak, right? In the
yeah.
But there's definitely maple there. There's plenty of maple. There's just more vanilla. But in the flavor, it's kind of balanced. It's kind of balanced vanilla and maple. But it's funny too, because obviously get vanilla out of the oak, but they actually had vanilla beans in it as well. So it's not sweet at all, but the vanilla is just a little bit more pronounced. And
so you're getting vanilla in 2 different spots on the palate, then, because you're going to get some vanilla flavor from the oak, then you got that vanilla bean, which usually hits you in a couple different places.
Right, exactly. And as it opens up, once you take a sip of it, you get another wash of vanilla, and that's from the beans. Obviously, the initial hit of vanilla is from the oak, but the initial hit of vanilla is coupled with that maple too, so it makes it even a little bit sweeter. So it almost is more pronounced just from the oak than it is from the beans. At least that's what I'm getting anyway. It's really, really nice. It's not sweet at all, but because of the flavors, it actually it's almost mouth coating, even though it's not viscous by any means. It's a standard mouthfeel of a bourbon, but I really enjoy it. And I actually found the recipe. I had a cocktail that they have entitled "The Search for Figfoot." Not Bigfoot, Figfoot. The Search for Figfoot. It's the Sasquatch Vanilla Maple Bourbon, sweet vermouth, Amaro. Gee, I got a drink with Amaro in it. Imagine that, right?
How about that?
Amaro, cherry juice,
okay,
and fig jam.
Fig jam. Wow. Okay.
Jam, yeah. So I actually watched them. They actually muddled the fig jam with the cherry juice, and then they added the bourbon, the vermouth, and the they coated the glass. They muddled in the shaker, and they coated the glass with the vermouth, but they added the bourbon, the Amaro, stirred it, didn't It wasn't shaken drink. They stirred it and then poured it in the glass in the vessel, if you will.
Well, that sounds really interesting.
Very tasty. It was very, very good. I enjoyed it.
So you've had that whiskey now. I assume you've had it neat, and you've had it with the cocktail. Now you're having it on the rocks.
hmm
What do you think is best suited for that particular whiskey?
I got to tell you, with everything that was going on in that drink, I'd like to try that exact drink. I'm gonna probably try and duplicate it at home. I'd like to try that particular cocktail with just any regular bourbon, and then with this, because with the vermouth, with the amaro, with the cherry juice, with the fig jam, I can't imagine that it's going to be obviously it's going to be a little bit of a difference, right? But I can't imagine, with the vanilla notes that are in a lot of bourbons anyway. I can't imagine there's going to be that big of a difference because it's not like I'm drinking maple syrup, right? It's not like
Mhm.
it's not like it's a maple flavored bourbon, right?
Yeah.
So I can't imagine it would be that different. So while this cocktail is amazing, it's definitely third on the list behind the neat and the rocks. Let me get a few other sips and compare it, and then I'll give you the answer between which of those I like better. But I can tell you that between the two of them, between the three of them, that's while the cocktail was fantastic, this particular bourbon, I think, is much better enjoyed either neat or
Meter rocks.
yeah. So that's my take.
Very nice. Yeah, I've when I first brought this home, I did try it on the rocks. I did try it in a cocktail, and it works in those capacities, especially at that proof. But like I said, it is remarkably approachable at 120. There's just so much flavor. There's so much going on here. I think it really is a bourbon you want to drink neat. Even though I did try it in a in a Manhattan, and that
Uh,
works well too. But I think it's almost I hate to put ice on it.
okay. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple bourbons I've had. I enjoy a lot of bourbon, on the rocks, but there's a couple I've had that they definitely need. Excuse me. They definitely need that glass to enjoy the aroma. They need the aroma coming through. If
Yeah,
you want to put a drop of water in, like you do in some scotches or some little branch water, as they say, that's fine.
yeah, yeah. There's
But
nothing wrong, especially if you're dealing with a cask bourbon. It's okay to add a little bit of water.
yeah, just a drop, open it up a little bit,
I
make it
wouldn't add water to anything under 100 proof.
no, no. But yeah, this is if I'm having, I can tell you right now, the more I think about it, if I'm having a cigar and it's a little warmer outside and I'm having, a couple of bourbons with the cigar, I'm gonna have it on the rocks.
That
If I
makes
want
yeah, that
if I
makes
want
sense.
to have the bourbon, this particular one, if I want to have it, just to enjoy specifically to enjoy the bourbon, then
Mhm.
and then I'm having it neat. Yeah.
So did you find yourself when you're drinking a bourbon like that, or any bourbon, I guess? Did you find yourself kind of drinking seasonally? Like for me, I'm not when it's chilly out. I'm not thinking about whiskey on the rocks, but when we start to get to spring and summer, when I start throwing more of my whiskey on the rocks. I want it cold, but right now I don't really want it cold.
Yeah, that definitely plays a part in it for me. I definitely have more drinks on ice in the even just bourbons, not just cocktail, just straight
Mhm.
spirit on the rocks in the summer or in the warmer months than I do in the winter. And sometimes in the winter, it's you want to warm up, and pouring bourbon over the rocks isn't going to warm you up, so you want that
Mhm.
warming feeling from the alcohol while you're drinking the bourbon, and you want to enjoy it that way. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll have some bourbon on the rocks in the winter, but I'll have a lot less.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Yes, I
in,
do
in
the same thing. I go through a lot less ice in the wintertime. Yeah.
mhm. But also I should note, and you know this already. While I do drink bourbon all year long, and I do drink gin all year long, in the summer months I drink a lot more gin than bourbon, and in the winter months I drink a lot more bourbon than gin.
Gotcha, gotcha. I guess that makes sense. I'm recently finding Oh, what's what I'm looking for? I'm recently just kind of finding my footing with gin. I did like it for a lot of years. I was always more of a whiskey drinker, but over the last year or so, I've really been trying to make a concentrated effort to, if I wasn't going to really like it, at least understand it. And so, what I have found though is when the gins I seem to like the best
Mhm.
are the barrel gins, and that's becoming a new thing. You're seeing more barrel gins, and I find I like those products better.
They definitely play a big role in my in my what's the word my progression from one to the other, right?
Yeah, I got.
um and I can be honest with you, there's a distillery. I'm in Belmar, New Jersey. All right, and we're right by the water, right by the Atlantic, and 3 miles north of me is Asbury Park. A lot of people have, familiar, even if you're not from Jersey or haven't been to Jersey, you're familiar with Asbury Park. Bruce Springsteen, and so
Mhm.
America pageant years ago was in Asbury Park. um so anyway, there's a distillery, Asbury Park Distilling, and they do a barrel aged gin, which is fantastic. And they do an old fashioned with their barrel aged gin.
Oh wow, that sounds interesting. Yeah.
So good. The first couple of sips, you're not even like until the botanicals hit your palate,
Mm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
you're just tasting the excuse me, and you're just tasting the old fashioned, everything, the conglomerate of all of the ingredients in an old fashioned on the front of your palate. You don't even know you're drinking gin. You think you're just drinking a regular bourbon old fashioned. And then the botanicals hit your palate, and you're like, oh wow, that's interesting, and it just adds another complex note to it. It's really tasty thing. So if you get a really good, well developed barrel aged gin, try making an old fashioned with it. Just try it.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you one here. I
Standard one. Just simple syrup, orange,
uh,
aromatic bitters. Luxardo. Call it a day. Just regular, straight at the front of the mill,
okay.
old fashioned. But just give it a try. Yeah, it's really good.
So I
I like
picked this one up back in August at Restless Spirits in Kansas City, and
Mhm.
it's called Builder's Barrel Finished Gin, and it's made with rosemary, lavender, and love. It says, but then it is barrel
Rosemary, lavender, and love. I
and
like
love. It's just a crazy good. I was it really blew me away. I kind of bought it just more out of curiosity than anything else. But
that.
boy, man, I mean, I've done. I don't know that I did that with it though. I mean, of course I've done a martini with it, but I've used it in place of other products to make various other cocktails. It's just an amazing product.
Mhm. When on that note, on that martini note, when you make a martini, gin martini, obviously, um, which we call olive or dirty, not dirty, olive, no olive, onion, what?
I'm olive and dirty.
Olive and dirty. That's me. That's just, yeah.
So, but what I typically try to do
I
though is
usually have a glass of olive juice with a little gin in it. Is what I
see, yeah, well, I don't have that
do.
much, but yeah, I mean, but for me, it's about the olive, right? I mean, I buy everything but standard olives for the most part. I've got spicy olives, I've got feta olives, I've got bacon cheddar olives, I've got blue cheese olives. For me, it's about okay, what strange ass olive can I find now to chuck in that cocktail?
You ever put in a dirty martini? You ever put a garlic stuffed olive?
Yes, I've been. The only thing
Yeah.
I haven't done is anchovy. I can't. I don't dig anchovy.
I don't either. I don't either. I can eat.
But
I'll eat a Caesar salad, but to actually eat the actual
yeah,
anchovy,
I love a Caesar salad, but I'm
Mhm.
not having an anchovy stuffed olive.
Yeah, yeah. There's a point. There's a level to my anchoviness. So
So back in August when we were in the Kansas City area, I picked up this jar of olives at a gourmet Italian shop, and it was bacon cheddar olives. So I
nice.
used those; those were very nice. And recently, my wife had picked me up some feta stuff that I really enjoyed. But
Fetas are good. I like feta. Never had bacon and cheddar stuffed.
I
I
hadn't either. But they
guess
were
I've had bacon in my olives. I've had bacon with my olives. I've
a
done
really
that.
nice martini.
What's that?
It made a really nice martini and
I
gave
can
me like a
imagine.
little
Yeah.
salad.
Yeah. Right.
It
Exactly.
had the olive and the bacon and the cheese. I mean, it was just beautiful,
It
man.
was nice. I I spend more time drinking my gin just with tonic and lime.
Right?
Tonic and lime.
So do you use tonic water or use a tonic syrup?
I use tonic water. A good
Okay.
tonic water like Fever Tree.
Yeah, okay,
Um,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
In a pinch, I'll get one of the better, cheaper. If I don't have any Fever Tree and I can't, You know, the my local store is out of it that carries it, and I'm not driving 10 miles to get 2 bottles of Fever Tree. I'll just stop at ShopRite and get the. But oddly enough, I think it's Vantage. It's a cheaper tonic. It's just tonic water, right? It's not by any means as good as Fever Tree, but in a pinch it works. The Vantage one does.
So talking about cocktails, for me, I mean, I do enjoy a martini, but again, a martini for me, I start thinking about martinis more as we go into spring and summer than I do in the winter. In the winter, I'm thinking a Manhattan. I'm thinking old fashioned. We get closer to spring, then I want a martini. I want a whiskey sour.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I'll have I actually we went out last Saturday night, and my plan all day was, you know what, I'm gonna drink some Manhattans tonight. That was my plan all day. And we're up early, went for a hike. We went to breakfast, went for a hike, did a couple other things, and then we started going out, and we went out for some cocktails prior to dinner. It was Jess's birthday. So
Oh, nice. I won't ask how old she is.
She'll kill me if I tell you. Information's on a need to know basis.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't need to know. I'm going to assume about 29.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Ish.
Ish. So my plan all day, you know, I'm gonna have some Manhattans. I'm gonna drink some Manhattans tonight. Well, long and the short of it was, we got to the first place for some cocktails prior to dinner, and just literally, I wasn't even thinking. It just rolled off my tongue. The bartender come over. What can I get for you? I says, can I have I asked for a rye old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's what I order, right? I'll have a rye old fashioned. You know, if they just make me regular old fashioned, that's fine. I'd prefer rye over bourbon, so I asked for a rye old fashioned. It comes out. I was through half of it before I realized that I was going to order Manhattans, and so I just wound up staying with old fashions. I had, you know, probably one or two too many of them, but anyway, good thing we were Ubering. But yeah, no, so it was good. So I had a few, enjoyed that all night. Went to a couple places, but she had fun. And then I drank beer the next day. We had.
You became an Irish alcoholic and switched to beer.
Yeah, I just switched. Yeah, you know what? We got home, and then a couple people came over the next day. So we just she's like, "You want more bourbon?" I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna drink beer." Had some extra beer in the fridge. I'm like, I got to get through some of this. So I just started pulling them out. We drank them. Didn't even have a lot of them, but just switched it up. And then, honestly, to be honest with you, this is the first cocktails, drinks, spirits, whatever, that I've had since Sunday, with the exception of the podcast on Tuesday night. I haven't had any.
Very nice.
To drink all week. It's been too busy.
I haven't either, believe it or not.
Yeah, I haven't.
I did. I don't typically drink on Sundays, but last Sunday was so nice. I did go outside and have a couple beers out on my patio, but I haven't had anything to drink since then. And here we are, Friday evening. So
there you go. Yeah, I'm actually Saturday morning for me now, but.
so it brings me to my next question. You're talking about a rye Manhattan. So you do prefer, I mean, a rye old fashioned. You do prefer rye in your old fashioned. You prefer rye in the Manhattan as well.
No, I actually prefer bourbon and old fashioned. I've had rye Manhattans, and I like them, but I prefer bourbon Manhattans. But
do you prefer a traditional bourbon in a Manhattan that uses rye as a secondary grain, other than as opposed to a wheated bourbon?
Correct. Yes. And the reason for my leaning towards the rye old fashioned, it's not so much what I make at home, because I'll make bourbon old fashions at home, but you know me, I put my spins on them, right? I'll add. I make my nocino. I make obviously the maple, black walnut maple one, and all of that. That's all bourbon. If I'm just having a regular old fashioned, if I'm going to a bar and I feel like having a couple old fashions, and it's a good bar, and they have good spirits there, and the good bartender's good and everything else, but there's not going to be any twists on it. They don't have black walnut bitters. They don't have, black cherry. It's just a regular standard old fashioned. I prefer a rye old fashioned when it comes to the, your standard old fashioned.
So you're at a bar, you're ordering a rye old fashioned. Do you have a preference of what rye they're using?
I prefer Michter's.
Michter's is nice. Yeah,
I love a good Michter's rye, but most bars don't. Like, I find maybe 25%, 30% maybe of bars will have Michter's rye. Short of that, I go to Bullet Rye.
Bullet's not bad. Okay.
Most every bar has Bullet Rye, so I'm covered one way or the other. They don't have Michter's, they got Bullet. We're good.
Yeah, well, around these neck of the woods, yeah, they'll have Bullet in most places, or Rittenhouse seems to be around,
Gotcha. Sure.
which isn't, which is okay for cocktails, I
Oh
suppose.
yeah,
But
yeah, no, of course, yeah, yeah, yeah. That works too. I haven't. It's been a while since I found a bar that if they didn't have Michter's, that they also didn't have Bullet, unless they were out of it. Which,
yeah, yeah.
So, but this is nice. Let's open it up a little bit with the ice.
So, are you afraid to let too much melt?
You know what? No, I mean, depends on what I'm drinking. Like I didn't put enough of this in here, and this glass kind of keeps the ice cold, so it's melted a little bit, but not a lot. I normally have a ball, so it's not. So it's a surface. It's not really melting a whole hell of a lot. Um, but my what you call it? My glass that I use is in the sink, and this came up
No,
quick, so I wasn't gonna wash it. And this other rocks glass that I use, the ball does too. It's too big to fit in the
you
glass.
gotcha. So that my next question: do you prefer the globe mold to the big square cubes?
I love the big square cubes. I haven't found one that works well at home. So
Okay.
I prefer the square cubes, but at home I just go with the globe since
I make both. I've got both the square and the globe.
I haven't
It's
found a
just
good mold
easier to
that
make the
actually works.
square cubes. Basically, it's easier to make the square cubes than the globes. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't found a good one yet. I know the one guy that the what's his name? The one I send you on Instagram, the guy that makes all the cocktails on Instagram.
Uh,
Uh, he uh, he gets big blocks and he chisels out smaller ones and then he shaves down the sides to
uh,
make the squares and put them in like I mean he does it manually.
I've just got the silicone mold that I make.
Yeah, I haven't found a silicone mold yet that actually works like to the point where actually like I've done them and they're not fully square or there's a little bit
Oh
off.
yeah.
And everything I do, no matter what, I'm like buy the book trying to make this work. It hasn't like you know what the globes are just easier. I'm not going to bother. It's fine. Is what it is.
Yeah, I tend to be really picky about my ice. I have to use filtered water or distilled water. I'm
I
not
I,
using
I use actually I put spring water in our
spring water.
spring
Works.
water
Yeah,
in our space. Yeah,
I like to use distilled too, so I know I've got a pure cube when I'm putting my whiskey over the top of it.
that's true. That's true. Actually, have a jug of distilled water right there. But the main thing I use that for is my humidor for the cigars.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It works. Yeah, you can't put non-distilled water in a in a humidor because it could lead to it could lead to getting mold on the cigars.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You have to use distilled water in your humidor or a solution. But a gallon of distilled water is $1.50. An 8-ounce bottle of the liquid is like $20. So I'll go with the distilled water.
That's funny. So we're talking earlier about drinking seasonally,
Hmm.
and this is the season. We are now officially in St. Patrick's season.
We are.
So, are you an Irish whiskey drinker at all?
I like I like Irish whiskey, but I don't drink a lot of it other than around now. Okay.
Around now? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Um,
So I kind of feel like bourbon is bourbon is what Irish Americans drink, right?
right. Right.
And I do love Irish whiskey. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of feel like that was the kind of the substitute for Irish whiskey is bourbon.
Right. Right. Yeah, pretty much. And that's what I look at. But yeah, like I'll have like this weekend, Sunday is in Belmar is parade day in Belmar. It's a madhouse in this town. There's so many people that come to this town for parade day. Every single bar in this town, there's a number of bars in Belmar. As anybody that's hearing this, that's ever been to Jersey or even knows of Belmar, knows there's a lot of bars. It's a bigger summer town. But they most of the bars charge a 25 or a $30 cover just to get in the door. It doesn't get you anything. It just gets
Goodness
you
gracious!
in the bar. Yeah, so we don't partake in any of that. Not to mention the
No, I
fact
would
that
not. No.
no, not to mention the fact if we walked in the bar, it would be like it would be like Animal House at the Dexter Lake Club. The music would stop and all the kids would turn and say, "Who the hell are these guys?" You know,
That's funny.
did the owner's dad just show up? What's going on?
Yeah.
Right? But what we call it? So we go up. Now we have a couple people over. I throw some corned beefs on. Jess makes a Irish beef stew, and whatchamacallit, we go back and forth, and I'll have Irish whiskey on Sunday along with some Guinnesses and maybe some Smittix. I do like to enjoy not Black and Tans, but Blacksmiths. So it's a Black and
With
Tan
the
with Smittix.
it's Minix, yeah.
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 So we'll have them. We'll just go back and forth. We walk up because we're a block and a half away from the parade route from Main Street. So we'll walk up, and I'll go back and forth. I'll be the one that brings the drinks back and forth because I'll come back and check on the corned beef, right? So
Right, there you go. Yeah.
forth, and then everybody will come back and we'll have some food. So we do that every year. But yeah, 2 weeks later is just St. Patrick's Day, so I'll have my share of Irish whiskey over the next couple of weeks, but not a ton, and not a whole hell of a lot after that will I have Irish whiskey. So
let me ask you this question then: when you're drinking Irish whiskey, do you have a favorite? Or and then my next question, I'll just add the follow up. How do you like to drink it? Neat, rocks, cocktail?
Neat. I mean, mainly I'll everybody will do a shot right to start. Hey, happy parade day, whatever. Do a shot. I don't do Irish car bombs. I'm about 35 years ago I did Irish car bombs, or more. But which we call I'll do a shot or two, and then next time I have it, I'll pour a little extra and then just sip on it while I'm drinking my Guinness or my Smittix.
I'm more likely to do a Boilermaker than a car bomb.
You know what? Yeah, if I had to choose between the two, I'd do a Boilermaker.
If I've got a good Irish stout and a good Irish whiskey, I've been known to drop one in there and knock her back. But I'd rather do that than the car bomb. Yeah. I don't need that Bailey's. I don't need that.
No.
And I don't need that stuff curdling as I'm taking a drink.
Exactly, right? Yeah, I don't need that.
I don't need that. I'm too old for that, man.
So we'll do that. But as far as a favorite Irish whiskey goes, I'll have, I mean, Jameson's your standard. You're not. I was gonna say run of mill. It's not your. It's your standard good go-to, right? It's your go-to. I actually prefer my number one that I actually prefer Tullamore Dew over Jameson.
Do you really? Okay.
It's a little bit smoother for me. It's not smooth by any means, but it's a little smoother than Jameson for me. I do the double barrel Jameson is good, and some of the when Jameson was doing the beer cask series, the beer barrel series.
Oh, I love those. Yeah,
the IPA was good, but the
cask was great. Yeah,
stout one that was really good. So if I go out, if I'm looking for a bottle of Irish whiskey and I see a Jameson stout version on the shelf, that's what I'm getting, right? So, but short of that, I'm getting a bottle of Tully. But I will tell you, Green Spot is probably my favorite.
Green Spot is very good. Green Spot isn't cheap, but Green Spot is very good. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I did have some Yellow Spot.
Oh God, that Yellow Spot is insane.
Yeah, it's stupid crazy. Yeah. But,
yeah. I mean, it's out of my budget for the most part, but boy, that stuff is good.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. Somebody else did and handed it to me, so I was fine with drinking it. So.
Yeah. Here's my thing. People complain about how somebody drinks their stuff. Here's my rule of thumb: is if somebody hands me a particular whiskey, I'm going to drink it the way they hand it to me. Mm-hmm. Right? If somebody says drink this neat, I'm going to drink it neat. If you bought I don't care if you bought a $500 bottle of whiskey and you want to put it on the rocks. Hey man, that's your whiskey. I don't care what you do with it.
Sure.
But if I'm handing you, even if it's only $100 bottle of whiskey, if I'm handing you a shot to drink neat, you ought to drink it neat.
Oh yeah. The what was it? I was in. Oh, this is going back probably 5 years ago, maybe. I'm out for a couple of drinks with this one guy. I was doing business with one of my accounts, right? And we're like, yeah, it's the holidays, right? Let's go out and get a couple of drinks. So he goes up and he's buying. He took me out for drinks. So we're gonna have a couple of bourbons. So he goes up to the bar, and I didn't realize what he was doing. He got Pappy 18 year.
Oh God!
He got two glasses of Pappy 18 year on the rocks.
Oh God!
What was I gonna do? Fish the ice out? I just drank it that way. So it was good. I mean, it's delicious, right? But fortunately, there were bigger cubes, so they didn't really melt and just diluted enough. But I was surprised that he had Pappy 18 year on the rocks, and he says, I'm gonna get another Pappy 18 year. Want me to get you another Pappy 18 year? And I was like, you don't. First I said, you don't have to. He says, stop. It's business. It's the holidays. I'm like, all right. He says, and then he asked me, he says, you want on the rocks again, or you want it neat? I'm like, neat, please.
Yeah.
So he
So I
goes,
have an almost similar story with the first time somebody. So I was at it was a Irish pub here in town that's no longer in business.
mhm,
But yeah, they were getting a 21-year-old Jameson
okay,
and gave it to me on, but insisted I drink it on the rocks.
really?
So I will buy it for you, but you have to drink it on the rocks. So they brought it to me on the rocks. I had another glass there. I had the bartender give me a glass, and I strained it out before too much could melt in there, and then I drank it neat or
Neat.
neat
Hey,
as possible.
hey,
Okay, why would you do that,
I don't know.
man?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place, but if you're having something if you haven't, it's not a run of the mill bourbon. It's not a run of the mill. It's not something that you want to try both ways. It's an 18-year Pappy, a 21-year Jameson,
Yeah, no, that's just
you know,
insane,
it's like
man.
taking a 35-year Macallan and
Yeah,
and putting it on the rocks, right?
yeah,
Or making a Scotch sour out of
that's yeah. See, I mean,
it.
some things just aren't done. I mean, it's like having a USDA prime beef and turning into hamburger. You just
Yeah,
don't. Yeah,
yeah. Take a $200 10-ounce filet mignon just the steak is like Wagyu, whatever you want to call it, and then grind it up and to make a hamburger patty out of it. Right?
yeah, it's just wrong. Just some things just aren't done in polite society.
Yeah. I gotta love it though,
Um,
and that makes these stories though, right? So that's the important thing. But
so how are you coming there, John?
I'm doing pretty good. Got a little bit more. Yeah, just coming along. We're getting closer with the brewery.
So that was my question. Yeah, how close are you?
Months. Let's leave it at that. So
Months. Okay.
months. Yeah, we'll this year.
So are
Before,
we looking at late summer without trying to pigeonhole you too much?
maybe,
Early
maybe,
fall?
maybe. If fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Okay.
The announcement, the formal initial announcement, will be made on a Tuesday night on the Log Room Guys show. As soon as we know the date, right? As soon as we know when it's going to be, we'll make the announcement on that show, and then we'll have at it. We'll start making the plans for all the soft openings. Start letting you know when you're going to have to get your plane ticket to get over.
Yes, that's what I wanted. So here's my thing. So this year, my wife and I in September we'll have our 30th anniversary.
Mhm,
So we're planning a trip for then, but she also knows I want to get out there for that.
mhm.
So I'm trying to make sure I got some money going this direction and this direction, so I got enough to get that plane ticket to your neck of the woods when you open up.
There you go. John's going to come up too. So
It'll be a lot of fun.
yeah. And I said, wait, what did I say? I said it on one show. We were saying it. You got to get there. John's coming up. We got to get who else? Yeah. It's 12:39 after midnight. John's buddy that he
Douglas.
Doug
Smith,
I know
yeah.
the D. I'm like D. Dennis. It's a D, right? Doug Smith. And
Yep.
Doug Smith. So, and then Dave looks at me and says, "You realize if the five of us are in one room at the same time, the world will implode."
Oh, the odds are good. Yeah.
So, but it'll be fun. That's for sure. And we'll have some good stuff. I have way too much beer. I mean, stuff I've been sitting on, stuff people have given me, other stuff I've bought on trips. I'm like, I gotta, I can't drink this by myself. People need to come here and help me drink this.
Yes, yeah. I've been going through the same thing. I buy stuff here, buy stuff there, and I've got stuff from last year that I didn't realize I still had.
Yeah, it's crazy. But here's the thing, though, right? It's like I can't like a lot of these are 750s, you know,
Oh
and
yeah,
even
yeah,
and even some of the things that are in 500 mil bottles,
yeah. Mhm.
they're 15, 16%. I'm not even drinking a 500 mil bottle by myself.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So, you know, it's like even if I'm willing to drink it myself, I still can't. People need to come here.
Yeah.
So I gotta start having a couple of bottle shares, right?
There we go. Yeah,
And
that's
tell
what you
everybody, don't bring anything. Just come
yeah,
here.
just come here. Bring
Just
a
come here.
glass.
Bring a glass. You want to bring the food? Fine.
There you
You
go.
want
Bring a
to
glass
chip
of
in?
respect.
Yeah, everybody that's coming over
Right.
can chip in for the food without me. You could do that.
Or order pizza. What the
Yeah,
hell?
whatever. Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's barbecue season. Buy the dogs and the buns.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll put them on the grill.
Exactly.
You know, but whatever it is. But yeah, I got to do something like because the problem is I'll have a bottle share, right? And people come over and they'll bring 2 and 3 and 4 bottles, right?
Mhm.
But my stuff will be in the fridge. Their stuff will be in their coolers, and everybody's pulling stuff out of their coolers. And you know, I trying to go to the fridge and get this and get that. So I might have put 6 bottles in there, and we went through 2. So I had a bottle share, and I only got through 2 damn bottles. You know,
That's
and have
funny.
people come over and not bring anything. Just come on, get 4 people, 5 people come over. Plan on staying here and enjoying some beer with me, but you're not bringing anything with you. And
That's
if
funny.
you do, you have to leave. Go put it back in your car and bring it home with you.
Oh, mercy.
Anyway, but yeah, so we'll definitely when that happens and you do get out here and John's up and Doug's up and everything else, we'll definitely even with the soft opening of the brewery, we'll definitely have a little mini bottle share back by the brew house in the production area. We'll go
That
back
will be
there.
that will be very nice.
So,
I've never drank with John before, but I have drank with Doug Smith many years ago. So
very nice, sir. Very nice. Yeah, John was just well, you were on for the holiday beer show, and John couldn't be on the holiday beer show, and then
yeah,
John,
you got him on just shortly after. Yeah.
yeah, and what happened was Tony from Texas was coming on the Christmas week show, and he got tied up that day and had to reschedule. So I got in touch with John, and John graciously came on that night anyway, as well, instead of, I should say, in place of him. So that worked out well. And Tony just came on a couple weeks ago, so everybody got on.
Well, there you go. It's a win-win.
It's a win-win-win. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so it was good. Yeah, we had a couple of good shows last week. We had this past Tuesday we had on Kat Reyes, Catherine Reyes.
I did. I
She-
watched that episode
Yeah,
actually.
really, really good. I mean, she's gotten herself involved over the last, I guess, 10, 12 years now in the industry, and she knows a lot of people. And she knows, like, to the point where we had John Hall on for our This Week in Route Beer show earlier in January, and he even said, we mentioned her because she commented in, and I said something to John on the show, and he says, yeah, Kat's the hardest working woman in craft beer right now. I'm like, great. She's awesome. You know, she watches every week. She shares all of our shows on the Worldwide Beer Fest page and site and all. She comments in on a couple of the groups I admin, and it's really great. And apparently, I'm going to see her when we go out to Vegas next month for Craft Brewers Conference.
Oh, very nice. There
He'll be
you go.
out there. John Hall, obviously, he's going to be out there. Don Tess, that has been on the show a couple of times from Canada. He does all about beer with John Hall. He'll be out there. So it'll be an old home week of people that know each other, with the exception of, you know, us and John. We know each other, and John and Don. But
Yeah.
I never met Don. I take that back. We had Don on the podcast in September, and we had him on again in November. When he came on in September, we're talking. And we were talking about the Craft Brewers Conference last year in Nashville. And I brought up a conversation that I had with John and this other gentleman that was at the brewery we were at while I was having this conversation with John. And Don's smiling. And I go, what? And he goes, I'm sitting here and I was going to tell you the same story. I says, what do you mean the same story? He says, I was having that same conversation with John and this other gentleman. Turns out it was the three of us.
That's funny. Oh, mercy.
So we had met each other in May, and by September we forgot that we met each So it was pretty funny, but yeah, it'll be out there. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be good. Although I'm not so sure why they actually wanted to have the conference in Vegas this year. It's going to be a little hairy, to say the least. But,
well, good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck. There'll be enough events going on. The only thing there's two things I want to do out there other than drink beer with all the compadres from the craft beer industry, and that's I want to go see as Jersey Johnny as I am my quest to visit if I could see a game, great, but at least visit every football and baseball stadium.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, I want to go see what the hell is it? Allegiant? I guess it's Allegiant. Whatever. The Raiders Stadium. I think it's Allegiant.
Yeah.
Where the Super Bowl just was. And I also want to get down to Hoover Dam. I've never been to Vegas, so this is the first time I'm in Vegas.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I want to see the Hoover
interesting Dam. For you, man.
Yeah. That and a friend of mine from high school actually has lived out in Vegas for about 20 years now. So pay a visit.
Oh, there you go.
Say hi, or at least meet up for a drink somewhere. Whatever. Yeah. Should be fun. Cool. What else is going on with you? How's Banter doing?
Very well, actually. I just picked up another day. We decided to open Mondays, so I'm doing that, and some other things that I can't talk about on air yet. So I could go over with you once we get off the air. But no, it's a lot of fun. I love working out there. These guys, the owners are just amazing. So we've got two owners. One of them handles all the brewing. The other one handles the business. So they got a perfect relationship going on.
Sure.
So and the beer there is fantastic. And what they've done is kind of foster this neighborhood brewery kind of. So it's almost has people refer to it as like a Cheers-like atmosphere.
Oh, nice! I like that. Nice.
So just a little neighborhood kind of brewery kind of thing, kind of a throwback from the pre-prohibition days,
Oh yeah.
So we got a lot of walk-up traffic. We got folks on the drive to us, but we're close to a lot of neighborhoods. Well, we're close enough for a lot of folks to even drive their golf carts to the brewery.
Oh wow, nice. That works.
It's very interesting. It's just a lot of fun. It's great for me, because I worked at a brewery before, but in sales, this is the first time I've actually been behind a bar. So I had to learn that skill, but they allow me to do what I do, which is, talk a lot. So
there you go. That's always a big part in this. Yeah. You know what? I'll be honest with you. If I hire somebody for, behind the bar that doesn't talk at all, I don't hire them for behind the bar. So, social skills are a major part in this industry in general, especially behind the bar. So
yeah, well, you would think, but I go to so many where it just becomes more about being fast and efficient than being friendly and courteous.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. If you're working in a tap room that's just slammed, right? And then maybe they're not slammed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but if you're there during a period where they're slammed, yeah, you're not going to have a conversation with the beer.
Yeah.
But as long as they're courteous in what they're doing while they're doing it for you, that's fine. And come the time when everything's leveled out, a lot of people have left, and maybe it's early on in the day, later on in the day when there's slow periods or whatever. I don't want to see, if there's 4 or 5 people sitting at the bar and they're all enjoying now, and if they're all having their own conversations, make sure they're doing okay.
Absolutely.
I don't want to see somebody standing there just staring at the back wall or looking at the TV and the bartender is on the phone.
On the phone. Yeah, that drives you crazy, doesn't it?
No. Put the phone down. When you finish work, you can pick your phone up.
So I feel like my job is in this particular area anyway, is to facilitate that conversation. And what I mean is I've got a regular sitting over here. I've got some folks that just walked in that have been there before. I give them the greeting. I talk to them. I ask them what they like. I'm giving them samples. I get them right where they want to be. And then I say, hey, this is so-and-so. He's a regular. And then I introduce him. And then at that point, I step away from the conversation.
Sure. You facilitate the conversation, right?
Yeah.
And you can be part of it too. I mean, it depending on what the conversation is, you listen to it and
yeah, if they're talking to me directly, but my job is to make sure everybody knows everybody. It's like I said, it's that kind of place. So Yeah, you know me. I'm Tom. If you need anything,
Yeah.
you give me a holler. Hey, this is so and so. He's a regular, and that conversation starts.
You're the cruise director.
Yeah, I
You know?
basically have. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I got to tell you, man, I because it just works to my wheelhouse, man. I just love being able to do that and to serve quality beer, and
Oh yeah,
it's just amazing for me. Yeah.
100%, 100%. Yeah, I
Well,
just
John, you got to be about wrapped up there.
yeah, I'm just
Anything?
that's done.
How would you like to end this video? You want to talk about that whiskey some more?
Yeah, I'll tell you now. While I definitely enjoyed this on the rocks just now, I liked it better. Neat,
Neat. Yeah.
neat. Yeah. So neat. So for me, it's neat rocks cocktail.
Cocktail.
For this
Did you feel like
particular,
it loses too much because you've got a lot of flavors going on? Does it lose too much to cocktail it?
yeah, it does. It does, especially like I said, especially with those ingredients. Like I'd like to try just a regular. I haven't made one yet. I have to try a regular old fashioned with this. Um, but whatchamacallit, I want to but that particular cocktail I had with the vermouth
Hmm.
and the amaro and the cherry juice and the fig jam, there's just a lot of flavors happening there. I don't know that it needs vanilla maple bourbon. You know,
That
that,
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
that particular cocktail could rest easy with just a regular bourbon.
Well, that
Um,
vanilla maple bourbon, I mean, would it lend itself well just to make a classic, a maple old fashioned?
right. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I want to make my maple black walnut bitters old fashioned.
Yeah, yeah. Do that kind of thing with it because
Right.
they're just adding a little bit. You're adding an extra layer.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking with this. And this beer, I forgot to pour the rest of the glass in. Look at the rest of the can in. There we go. I got a little extra. Little bonus beer, as they say.
Well, how about that? I love it
Yeah.
when that happens.
But yeah, it's nice. I mean, yeah, the little, I mean, big caramel, um, big caramel, not as big vanilla. Definitely bready, a little bit of toffee, a nice amount of chocolate. Gentle roast is there, but it's not overpowering. I mean, it's Treehouse, right? Treehouse does amazing things.
Yeah.
Treehouse makes, I mean, they're known for their IPAs
Hmm.
and they've become known for their big stouts and big barley wines, but they do everything so well. Their lagers. I mean, I picked up, when we did the Route Beer show, I had been up at Treehouse because Jess and I went up to Rhode Island with Providence. And then when we left, we swung an hour up into Massachusetts before we came home to stop at Treehouse and come back. And I picked up a few of the Rauks and had a couple of those on the show. And yeah, just everything they're doing, and they do it so well. And they make you would think that a brewery that makes that many different styles as well as they make them, right? And I'm not fanboying out on Treehouse by any means, by the way.
You got you
But,
good.
but you would think that a brewery that makes that many different styles that well has a very small brew house. I mean, they have those fermenters have to be 240s easy.
Wow.
Yeah, a huge brewery. Unless they have a small, brew house hidden in the back, but that can't be because they can so much of these things. And what's amazing about Treehouse is as good as the beer is, and as good as the brewing is, and as good as the marketing and everything that they do, every drop of their beer they sell out of their facilities. There's not 1 ounce of beer that goes off any of their premises. They have 4 or 5 locations now, but and the bulk of the brewing is done right in Charlton, the main place, right? Everywhere else is just a tap room and
Hmm.
sales and so forth. And in fact, they're opening one in. I mean, everything's been in Massachusetts. They're opening one in Saratoga Springs, New York, too, right near the racetrack, just above Albany. I don't know how long, what the time frame of that is, but it's happening. But my point is, not 1 drop of beer other than their properties is sold off of their properties.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Nothing, no beer stores, no bars, no nothing.
Wow,
Every ounce of it
that's
is
pretty
sold in
amazing.
house. And here's the kicker too. Anywhere I think 1 or 2 of their places actually has food now, so you can stay there and drink more. But speaking of Charlton and a couple of their other locations too, you're maxed out at 2 beers,
Oh, really?
2 full pours. That's it. When you come in, you get a wristband when you come in if you're going to drink, and the bartender will put put a mark on your wristband when you have one, and then the second one, and you can't get another one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then if you can get they have half pours, so you can actually get 4 half pours. So it's 16-ounce pours or 8-ounce pours. You can get 4 8-ounce pours or 2 16-ounce pours. That's it. And if you opt for a 12-ounce, I think they do 6-ounce pours at the higher ABV beers that they do in 12-ounce pours. But either way, you're getting 2 full pours or 4 half pours. And that's it. So it's not like people can sit there and have 6 and 7 and 8 beers and Uber home or back to their hotel or whatever. They have to, the bulk of the beer is to go from the brewery. And they're cleaning up. I mean, they're making money hand over fist. It's ridiculous, but
that's crazy.
Kudos to them. But I mean, they're doing it right. So cheers. So, I don't know if you noticed the glass I poured it in. Just little.
No, I didn't. There you go, Coastal. There we go.
Shameless self promotion.
Well, you keep me posted on the upcoming opening, so I know how to make my plans.
Will do. As soon as you'll know before we announce it on the Log Room Guys
Just
show.
don't let it be at the end of September, because if it clashes with my anniversary, you're out of luck.
I don't think that'll be a problem, but I'll keep you posted. But,
all right, man. Well, thanks, Johnny, for joining me this late evening.
Thanks for having me.
No, anytime, man. Have a good one. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, Prairie Wisdom man, all around good guy, and Sláinte.